Hello. I'm recording this video because I'm not going to be in a class this week. I am going in to attend a conference, and when I come back, I'll bring some more chocolate and more stickers for you guys. But don't worry, the TAs will be in the lab and they will be there to help you. So you're gonna come in the lab and then you're gonna start working on the lab. When you finish, they will give you the grades. Also, if you have any questions, they're gonna go around. They're gonna check on your solutions. They will give you tips. They will give you hints. They will help you to finish the lab. At the same time, if you got my permission from the previous lab to take an extension, you can also share your lab with the TAs so they can grade you and just show them the email that I gave you the approval and they will also give you the grades. Okay, so let's move to the content of this week. This is the week 6. So we already covered several concepts that help you to create a program. We are able to create a variable. We are able to create print statements, and then we are able to read an input and produce an output using the variables. We can format the outputs and we can do operations on the numbers. And now we're gonna do the loop, which is doing what we did, but into several iterations. There are different kind of loops. There's the while loop, there's the for loop, and in some programming language, there's like some more other loops. So what is the difference between while loop and for loop? In while loop, you're gonna keep repeating and doing a code several number of times, but you usually use it until the condition would be violated. As an example, you use while loop to validate an input. So when you read an input from the user and then you want the input to be maybe only yes or no, you're going to take it from the user and you're going to check it. If the user gave you invalid input, you're going to tell them, this is wrong, try again. This is wrong, try again. The only way you will stop the loop or stop the checking when the input is exactly what you want the user to do it. So that's one way to use the while loop. Whatever you can do in the while loop, you can do it in the for loop. But it's more convenient to use the while loop to check and validate inputs and to use for loop if you already know exactly how many steps you're doing. As an example, if I want to print the multiplication table and I want to print 1 multiplied by 1 and then 1 multiplied by 2 and then 1 multiplied by 3, I know exactly that I have 10 steps. So for loop would be a good example to use it here to create the multiplication table. Yet, whatever you can do with the for loop, you can do it with the while loop and vice versa. All right. So today's lab, we're gonna do a while loop too. You're gonna read input from the user, and you're gonna control the program based on the input from the user, where you're gonna move from a state to another. Whatever you're gonna apply for today's lab, the similar concept will be applied for the homework, where you have a state and you're moving from a state to another, and then from a state to another. I will give you an example. So, but before giving you an example, I want to share the schedule with you guys. So we are in week 6 where we are doing state machine here. As I said, homework 2 already released. So we have 2 weeks until the exam 1. I will be back for the exam 1. I'm not gonna be here for this week. So we're gonna do the state machine, which is implementing the while loop and if statements in a way that you are moving from a state to another based on hard-coded the states. Okay? So to start today's lab, what you need to do, you need to read the material. It's not going to be a new material. It's the same material from last week. Maybe there's some extra slide or extra content, which is totally fine. If you want to try the lab and then if you have a question, you will go back to the reading, but make sure at least you understand the general idea, the general structure and the grammar of the while loop. Also, don't forget to do the pre-lab, and then you can start the lab in the lab time. And the TA is going to go around, they're going to give you grades for the lab when you finish, and also answer any questions. And the homework, the vending machine, it's the magical vending machine where it's move you from a state to a state so you can buy items. But there is some unique uh features for this vending machine. As an example, sometime when you put the money, you can lose the money. Or another time when you put the money and you order an item, you can get two items instead of one. So this is like a unique conditions here. Okay, let's go over some background knowledge that you need to have or know. If you went through the book and you read the book, you would be able like to trace me easily while I explain that. So let's go and um, give you an example. So again, if we want to create a while loop, the logic of the while loop, it's you're gonna just put while, and then you're gonna put the loop guard, and then you put the colon, and then you're gonna do an action. As an example here, I want to print something. I want to print high. So when I run that, should give me a perfect, beautiful infinite loop. Why? Because every time I go inside the loop, it's true and I print. It's true, I am print. It's true, I am print. So we don't like we don't really want an infinite loop, and that's was never intentional. Like like I don't think you will ever find people to intentional create infinite. In fact, a million years ago, when I was a teenager, we used to have like a lot of forms, and JavaScript was something really big, and the browser doesn't really limit the JavaScript. So I know some of the hackers, they used to put like a signature inside the forms, and then within the signature, it's a JavaScript, and then they put an infinite loop intentionally. So they like when someone is tr and when someone is trying to access the page, it will overload, like it will keep like a looping some action, and then until they crash other people machines. So this is one of the first 101 crashing hacking way by creating an infinite loop. But now I think you can handle it more. So see here, I created infinite loop, but I didn't crash the server. The server, when the server did the same action, X number of steps, it just like terminated that. But that doesn't, it's not always the case. It's based on the terminal you're using or the platform you're using. Okay, so let's go back here. So I want to stop the loop after like maybe three times. Okay. So if I want to control the loop here, you can't really have like a true. You need to have a variables that or conditions that's going to create a true and false. So you can control the conditions. So as an example here, I will call it go and go equal true. Okay. While go, if I do that, this is still going to create the infinite loop because I'm just replacing that with a true. So what I'm going to do here, I'm gonna if uh go, okay, if go, I want to go to be false. Okay, what exactly I'm doing and what exactly is going to happen. Let's trace back. So I'm creating my variable. My variable is true. And while it's true, it's going to start going inside. I'm printing my high. And then if true, I'm changing my true to be false. And then I'm stopping my loop here. So you need to have a condition or something that change the value for the bodyguard for your condition. So it could be either an if statement, another way to do it. So this is one way to create a loop. Another way, so we can have a counter. So if you remember from the last time when we did the counter and then within the counter, we printed 10, 9, 8s backward until we managed to print, it would be the same. You will have a counter. And then while your variable is less than something, you would be able to do an action. And then you need to increment or decrement your variable based on condition, or like you need to update the variable. So leave the first one. Okay. So I created a counter and I'm doing that the X number of time, and then it's going to terminate. Okay. So I refreshed your mind. Now you should remember how to create a loop, control the loop from a Boolean, or control the loop from a variable, and now how to control the loop based on a user input. Okay. So I will create the third one. So this time I will call it inp. Okay. And I want to read from the user a number, okay? Which is, this is equivalent to today's work, because today's work is asking you to move between state and navigate between elevator based on the input. If you input up, you will go up. If you input down, you will go down. And then there would be limitation. If you're in the ground floor, you can't really go beyond the ground floor. So I will explain that in a bit, but first I'm going to introduce the first example just to refresh your memory. Okay, so I want to read an integer input, and it would be um enter an input. All right. And then I only want my loop to stop if my input equals 0, because my input is a string, uh, or integer in this case. So this is integer, but if I want it to be a string, remember, like, you need to control it in a different way, where this is need to be string, this is need to be string, everything need to be equivalent. Okay, so if my input is not 0, or if my input is 0, I want to terminate. Okay, that's logic, makes sense. And then what I want to do, I'm gonna say print I am inside the loop. All right. Okay, if I run this code, what exactly do you think gonna happen? If you said an infinite loop gonna happen, this is correct. This is a beautiful another type of infinite loop. So how we can stop that? So we need to have a condition that changed the bodyguard here for me, and instead of always having it as a true. So I can gladly like take that and copy that here. And based on my inputs, I'm controlling the loop now. So I'm moving, I'm not doing the first one, the second one. Now, come on, wherever you are. All right. So here I'm reading an input. So I will start by saying my input is 0. And then this is going to take me inside my loop. And then I'm printing I am inside my loop. And then it's asked me to input a user again. If my input is 0, I'm going back here again. But like if I put my input is 1, that's going to break the loop. And I'm going to stop. So the same logic here, you're going to create something like that. But maybe let's say now I want to control. I want to print something based on my input. So let's say if my input equal 0, okay, I want to print I am as 0. And then you're gonna continue, but like um if you want to have more condition, because now it's always gonna terminate when you have a 0, I will delete this code. I can directly go to my example. So this is gonna print if it's 0, and then you're gonna read again. And then if you put anything besides 0, you're gonna terminate the lab. But like, how then to go back and print something? So now this is a state 0, but what if I want like several states? I don't really want to like leave the loop until like I put a 0 as an option, not the vice versa. Okay, so here when we need to go back and we need to consider our input. So my input should not be 0, because I only need to stop if my input is not 0. If your input is 0, I'm gonna stop. Okay. So here I want to say if my input equal 1, I want to print I am a 1. If my input it's 2, I'm printing I am at 2. So here if my input is 0, I'm not going to be able to go inside the loop because this is the condition. 0 is the case where I terminate the loop. Okay. So now my input need to be something that's not 0, like start the program. So maybe it's 1. If your input is 1, you're going to go inside and you're going to print the 1 condition, and then you're going to go back. Okay. So let's say this time is 2. You're going to go back and you're printing the 2 conditions. Let's say this time it's 3. Nothing really should happen because I'm not really controlling the 3. There's no 3 states. And then if I put 0, it should terminate the code. All right. So this is all the logic kinda you need that you need to do the lab. Okay, now let's go to the lab. I'm gonna explain the lab for you. So the lab is that you're creating a lift. The lift move based on the user input. So you're gonna start first by taking a user input. You're just gonna start here. The input can be up, down. It can be U for up, or it can be D for down, or it can be X to go to the ground floor anytime, or it can be O for off. So this elevator has like a 3 main functionality. You can go up, you can go down. If you're up, you can stop. And because this is a magical elevator, anytime, any moment, if you click X, it will automatically like teleport and take you to ground 0. All right? Okay. So because this is a magical elevator, it doesn't really take you up normally. If you're in level 0 and you click up, it will take you to level 2. If you're in level 2 and you take you up, it will take you to 4. If you're in 4 and it take you up, it will take you 6. If you're in 6 and take you up, nothing should happen. Okay, if you see here, we keep jumping like 2 floors at a time. So if I am here and I click up, if you're in 5 and you clicked up, nothing should happen. Again, 0 will take you to 2, 1 will take you to 3. Every time you go 2. So if you're here and you click up, nothing should happen. If you're in 6 and you clicked up, nothing should happen. So 5 and 6, nothing should happen when you click up. Okay. So this is for the up. And now for the down, if you're here and you click down, yes, it's going to take you 1 down. If you're here and you click down, it will take you 1 down. If you're here and you click down, it's not taking you to the floor 3. So if you're in 3 and you take down, it's not really taking you to floor 2. It's taking you to floor 1. So it's not really going by 1. It's going by a unique cases. Like, well, what would be something that's control the down? So if you're 3, click down, it take you 1. If you're 4, you click down, it take you 2. You're 5, you click down, it take you 2. You're 6, you click down, it take you 3. So if you're in 1, what is half of 1? Okay, it's maybe 0. Well, if you're 2 and you click 1, what is half of 2? If you're 3, what is really half? So it's not really only half. There's other things that's involved here that's control your down. If you're 5, so if half of 5, it's 2 point something, but like you're going into 2, I hope that's going to give you enough hints. And in the middle of the lab, if you need help and you couldn't figure out how to control, ask the TAs. They will give you tips and hints. Okay, so this is for the down. This is for the up. And now for the unique cases, if you click X, it will automatically take you to ground 0. It doesn't really matter which floor except floor 4. Floor 4, nothing will happen if you click X. But any other floors, when you click X, it will take you to ground 0. And you can click off to leave the elevator only if you are in ground zero. So if you're in ground zero and you click off, you will leave the elevator. Here, there's like no off. Here, everyone has like D or X or up. Here, up DX, up DX. So the off is only on the floor zero. So my explanations is exist here. There's more details here about how you move, how you like control that. So the main logic or the main idea is that, and here this is the hint how you move between the down, how the down is doesn't really go one floor. There's hint here which is related to the athletic ceiling. Okay. So when you finish coding the assignments, let the TA check it for you. They will give you a grade. And also there is another question that you need to answer. So this is a startup code. We're giving it to you. We expect you to use this startup code to build your code. So here so don't change the variables. Just increment and add. So you're gonna start by like you will be in no floor, okay? So you're gonna look at the diagram and you're gonna change the first floor based on whatever the diagram is telling you, you're gonna start from this floor. So if the diagram is telling you start floor -4, you're gonna start from -4, but we don't really have floor -4. Go back, look at the diagram, see where is the arrow that's gonna tell you you're gonna start from here. And then you're going to change the conditions, similar to how I changed the condition multiple times in the examples. You're going to change the conditions here. And when you change the conditions, like you only need to stop if your case is off. Okay? And every time when you go inside, this is a default sentence that's going to print you are in which floor, and it will ask the user to give an input. The input could be up, down, off, X, which is express. So you need to have your code here and don't touch these two. Don't touch them. You're gonna touch the conditions and you're gonna touch here. So you're gonna control, like you're gonna read to write states for the up. If your input is up, this is the things that should happen. If your input is down, this is the things should happen. If your input is this, and then when you're done coding, you're gonna come here and you're gonna answer those questions. So if you are in the initial states, okay, where like the ground level floor, and using less than 7 inputs, 7 pressed buttons, how to go to floor 5. And then the second one is from floor 4, and I want you to go to floor 0. So it would be also like you need to figure out how to pass the inputs. These two questions about what kind of inputs that will help you to do it more efficient. Okay. So this is for this lab. I'm really gonna miss you guys. I do love teaching the 116. I do enjoy teaching you guys, so I will miss you. But in return, I'm gonna bring more chocolates for you for the next lab. Wish you the best of luck. And if you need anything, please, if you need anything, I will try my best to reply to my emails. Till now, like I have tons of emails that I didn't even go over them all. I it's just if it's something urgent and you really need my attention and my help, just put urgent in the title and I will try like to search if someone is like they need my help urgently. All right. Good luck. I'm gonna check on you tomorrow. If you have any concern, if you're not happy or anything, just like email me or like send me a message or pass the message with the TAs and I will take your concern and I will try to make you happy. All right. Good luck, people. See you next week.